Ristas, Cremvise Azantes, welcome video lovers, welcome to Tac Nerd 1.0. Folks, we are here in the alternate bench chat location, looking at obviously what you can see here is a Kimber box. So you might be asking what is in the box. Well, let's take a look. So obviously this is a 1911 pistol, and let's take a look at what you get with it. Very nice booklet here, color booklet. Partially color anyways, explaining the firearm very well. Pretty much everything you need. You get a little bit of sample CLP here, so that's nice. The stickers, some more Kimber stuff, some lubrication. This tells you where you want to put lubrication on the firearm, so that's good. A lot of documentation here Kimber gives you. This is some of your atypical safety information. There's thank you for trusting Kimber, some more ads. This is nice, I thought. They give you some alternate light pipes for your forward sights, more gear, accessories. You get your lock, and this was very nice. They give you a takedown tool. If you have any experience with 1911s, you'll know what that is for. And of course, you get the pistol. You get the 1911. So let's take a look at this. Now this is called, this model anyways, this is called the Night Patrol.
Night Monkey?
Yeah, that's what it said on the news,
I believe. And this is a Kimber custom lightweight. Now these are not the original grips, I did replace these. And this is a different magazine as well. Of course, it is a Mekar magazine, and it is 8 rounds. It is YouTube compliant, of course. So you can see it's got the nice combat type hammer. Take a look at the safety engages quite well. And let's see what it sounds like. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very tight lockup. It's the one thing about Kimbers. Now they get a lot of flack. They have gotten quite a bit of flack in the last few years. I think they have gotten kind of a reputation as being something of a FUD gun. Hate to use those terms, but it is kind of something that has kind of gone along with it. But these are quite nice still. And not only have they gotten that kind of reputation, there are those that say they are simply not the construction that they used to be. Now these custom lightweights that you can get at more retail type stores, these are not the handmade, or at least totally handmade 1911s that Kimber seem to build themselves on, but they are quite nice. And you can generally find these for about 700
news on the new,
or give or take, maybe 8, depending on where you go. Now the Kimbers are generally still considered to be quite good as far as 1911s go. Now, whether they carry the reputation of something like a Colt, or I would say even like a Remington, I don't know. I think my favorite 1911 I ever owned was a Remington, and those were quite nice. I had one, probably still somewhere on this channel. You can find a review of it. And those were, that one was all stainless and was very, very nice. Really didn't have any issues with it. But as you can see, the Kimbers come with a full steel guide rod instead of the half that many 1911s do. Now the trigger you'll find is quite crisp and very 1911 like. Let's take a sample of it. Very little take up, just right there. And then you hit the wall and then it breaks. Very nice trigger on these. Now I will tell you, some people will say again that these do have a reputation on them for misfiring, which is quite common of a reputation to all 1911s. It can be somewhat true. It can be something of a misnomer, I will say. I think with the Kimbers, it is something of a misnomer. Now, I am about, I would say maybe 200, 250 rounds in, but Kimber recommends a 500 round break-in period. Now, that is extensive, but for something that is made to such tight tolerances as these are, it is very much necessary. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, my Glock doesn't need any type of break-in, it just works. That could be true, but it's not the same firearm. It's a different firearm. you have to understand this design is well over 100 years old at this point. So it's not the same type of firearm. And this firearm is all metal, very little plastic, just really the grips is all, and maybe the sight, at least the light pipes. But other than that, this is a old school, modernized old school firearm. And so it does bring with it some of those old school firearm issues, which one being when you make something to such tight tolerances, you're going to need a break-in period. Now, the original 1911s were not as tight. They had much looser tolerances. If you get one like from the CMP or something like that, and they're going to have much less of an issue like that. So, but this is not that. Again, this is a different type of firearm. So why would someone buy one of these? What would be the purpose? Well, again, the craftsmanship is very nice. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of haters down below here that are going to tell me that, yeah, these Kimber isn't what it used to be, and these aren't the 1911 that they built their name on, but they are nice. They are comparable to a lot of the other brands out there. Are they comparable to a modern Colt? I don't know. I don't know if the modern Colts are comparable to the older Colts. We would have to see. I think it's certainly just as good as probably a Remington or a Ruger. Definitely as good as a Ruger, or better. I would say as good as Remington, something like that. In fact, I thought about getting another Remington before I got this one. But I really liked the coloring on this one. I liked the fiber optic front sight. As my eyes begin to age, I do need such things. And it is a very nicely put together firearm, as you can see. And I think for a 1911, the price really isn't that bad. I think you will find these at least affordable. Now they do have, Kimber still does have their, I guess you would call it like their custom shop, where you can get the completely custom pistols made, where they do make them by hand and such. The prices for those are much higher, and they do have other models. They have different features. Those are much higher. This is a nice basic 1911 with some flair added to it. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I don't have any shooting footage for you right now, but what is it like to shoot? I would say it's quite pleasant. It's pretty much just like any other 1911, but it is very nice. To the point where I would say, if you're thinking of getting a 1911, and you're thinking of getting, if you're just thinking of getting something like a Rock Island Armory or something like that. Now, the Rock Island Armories are great if you're just getting one of their basic models. If you're moving up into the 1911 market and you want to get something a little newer, something like that, if you're getting up into the 500 and 600 Quatlu ranges, you might want to look into one of these, because I think if you spent a little more, I think you'd be very well pleased with something like this. And the other advice I would give you is stick with it. Don't just go fire off 50 or 100 rounds, have a feeding error, and then assume that it's junk. Complete the 500 round break-in period, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. As I said, I've still got a couple hundred more to go, few hundred more to go in my break-in, but I really haven't had any issues. I think maybe, I would say my first 50 to 100, I didn't have any issues. My second, maybe one failure to feed. Other than that, really haven't had any issues with it. Now, your mileage may vary, of course, but they are a 1911 with all of the modern features, as well as made in the USA. You can see here, these are made in Yonkers. So as I said, again, if you're looking for a 1911, if you want to add one to your collection, I still think that the Kimber is the way to go, or at least a way to go, a good way to go. I think you're going to get some quality there. Is it the quality that they had many years ago when they were completely custom made? Probably not, but it's still going to be, for the price, a very, very well made 1911, and at that, a very accurate 1911. Because of the tight tolerances and the necessary break-in period, you're going to have a very, very nice firearm. Very good trigger, very accurate, and quite beautiful, really, to be honest. I think you're going to find that. All right, folks, so listen, this is just a short video we're going to get out and shoot this. We're going to try to get the rest of the break-in period done, and we'll take you along with for the ride. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, please leave them down below in the doobly-doo. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you would, please fire off a shot at that bell notification so you can be apprised of when all of our videos hit bright and early, 9 a.m. every morning. Folks, this is Tack Nerd, and I am out of here.